Okay. Good morning, class. It is just past Halloween, November 2nd. Welcome back to East Asia International Management. Today, we are going to be going through many different things. Some of our visiting professors, Hyunak Do and Gun Soo Kim, may talk about Vietnamese management, but we're also getting to the end of the year, and it would be appropriate for people to talk about everything that we've covered so far and the idea of trends and technologies that are very important. So with that said, I want to remind everybody that when you are presenting in class, we need to develop our guangxi. So the more we share with other people, the better. The more we do proactive management and we share details, the easier it is to get marks, the easier it is for you to become more successful. So I want to build that habit in you. And don't forget that you also get several points for a quiz. So anybody that is presenting weekly topics, remember that you can give quizzes to other people, and each person can get maybe 2 points just by answering quiz questions. The closer we get to the end of the term, the harder it's going to be to get those points. So with that said, Hyunak Do and Gun Soo Kim, I understand you guys have a few kind words you'd like to say to our group.
All right. Welcome to the class East Asia Management. Hyunak, can you mute your mic, please?
Yeah.
So today we will look into Vietnamese management shortly, but since we haven't prepared completely for the presentation, since this is not a scheduled presentation time, but yeah, we have prepared a little bit, and we'd like to share this and get some more feedbacks on it from you guys. So
Yay! Very smart. Hopefully everybody does this.
yeah.
Develop your guangxi.
Yeah. So thank you for your participation. We will start. So my member is Hyunak Do and Gun Soo Kim. So we will look into the Vietnamese management. So next. Yeah, this is before previous. Yeah, this is the table of contents that we are going to look about the Vietnamese and Vietnamese business culture and so on. But yeah, so next. Yeah, Vietnam is located in the southern and has advantages in trading due to its strategical location and surrounded by the sea. So there are about 95.50 million people living in Vietnam and considered to be one of the most potential growth country. So, and Vietnamese has a high collectivism structure and deeply engaged with the Confucianism. And we think this too is the most important values exist in Vietnamese. So next. So know about the Vietnamese management. The first level of the business system refers to culture, which consists of rational identity and authority. These three dimensions are used to present the culture of Vietnam. Next. So first of all, we haven't really. You can see those two main points, but first of all, for the rational, the Confucian values place strong emphasis on the importance of society and group. These values have influenced the Vietnam society and promoted those people and organizations devoting their efforts for the benefits of the community and of the country as a whole. So next, therefore the SOE firms are prevalent in the early of Vietnam society, which has acted as a government important macro regulation tool, ultimately directive role in the economy. However, since most of firms are regulated by the government, the performance were not so effective. Next. Since 1991, previous, previous, yeah. Since 1991, after the collapse of the former Soviet Union, it began to transform its economy into market-oriented one with feature of both a state-directed economy and a mixed economy. Privatization has been implemented and growth of these firms perceived as a driver of the improvement of economic well-being of citizens through generating wealth and employment at the grassroots level and having a significant impact on societal systems. Yeah, and second is the identity of Vietnamese. The characteristics of Confucianism are diligence, hierarchical relationship, strictness, harmony, and humility. Since Vietnam is considered to be a traditional and collectivist country, the patriotic and high level of national pride is very important among the Vietnam. So next, before the Doi Moi, the central planned economy was dominated with the state-owned enterprises, which I have mentioned previous, the SOEs. And while the private sector was hampered, this is because the collectivism feature has put more concerns on public interest rather than individual benefits. Doi Moi policy, coexisting with many of the values, attitudes, and behaviors that are associated with the traditional Vietnamese culture, has changed the traditional value systems that were premised on a centrally planned and subsidized economy. Preservation of national culture and integration with international has provided economic revolution in Vietnam and consequently lead to increase in level of materialism. By using material symbolism, Vietnamese signal their success and identity. This also helped them display prestige and gain trust from business partner. This has relation with the first impression when it comes to business. So after this, the Hyunakdo will discuss. Oh, what?
So right after the historical steps and some kind of introduction of like Vietnam management, like we are going to have an analysis about the organizational structure of Vietnam, and they will actually have vertical organizational structure, and they are well centralized since at the head, I mean the high level of managers actually dominate the company, and the company was well formalized. And they have showed that they are having intrinsic motivation from the company. They had some purpose on achieving a personal sense of accomplishment and having fun in the company. And Vietnam culture attaches higher value to collectivism rather than individualism, and honors in Vietnam persists more on security rather than challenge because of external factors. And from now on, we're going to have more analysis on HR and the promotion system and retirement. And we're going to have a deeper look on the trade union and the business system of Vietnam management and company and the ownership and the pros and cons of Vietnam management. And they actually had the government's active support, but they had relatively low level of labor force. With regard to labor force, the most challenge for Vietnam is low skill qualification of labor. In the meanwhile, there are still many problems and constraints in terms of education and training. Delivery of high quality training and services is not capable and sufficient to respond to the demands of employers. And the comparative advantage through this business system is that Vietnam's comparative advantages is still largely based on the country's endowments of labor and natural resources. Vietnam is rich in terms of people, having a large and young population. Vietnamese laborers are known to be hardworking, talented, and with a high willingness to learn. And the salary of Vietnamese workers is less than those in neighboring countries such as Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia, or the Philippines. And the cost of doing business in Vietnam is lower than that in other countries in the region. It's improving. Vietnam is now improving its infrastructure system to facilitate businesses and enhancement of IT platform to activate more their business. And those are the weaknesses of Vietnam management. They theoretically, in rapidly growing economies, workers have opportunities to move to other companies with higher compensations, and facing a shortage of skilled laborers, while there exists an abundance of unskilled laborers. And we're going to have more analysis on the international activities that if we have Vietnamese management and the conditions of working conditions in Vietnam, and how foreign direct investment companies enter Vietnam when they just open their market. And this is going to be our presentation. I'm in the steps, and this is going to be our overall presentation. And on November 8th, we are going to have a better presentation format. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation today, guys. You presented a lot of different information. Are there any articles that you think are especially interesting to you, or that you may recommend to your classmates today? Are there any places where you have saved your articles you want to share with your classmates? Online, hint, hint.
So actually I really want to have some comments about it, but it's easier for me to see where you take the information from, so I can easier to discuss with you, because from what I see, I'm not easy to discuss and debate with you, because I cannot see where you get the information from. Because from a Vietnamese people, I really want to know how the people knows about Vietnam. So it's quite interesting. But so it's easier for me to know where you take the information, so I can comment about that. Yeah.
For a while.
So we have found the article related with the Vietnam management, and Hannah, can you show the PDF file? Yeah. By looking at this, we could come up with the societal cultural values and also the business culture in Vietnam. And yeah, as I mentioned, the Confucianism and collectivism really acts strong when it comes to business.
Yes.
So yeah, from this article, we get the most of the ideas of business culture and just societal cultures. Yeah. And another articles also we found. So Hannah, you can explain that.
Oh, okay. This is going to show the business system of Vietnam, actually how they work, and Vietnam. They are going to show the Vietnamese business system and changing trend of the Vietnamese business system, corporate social responsibility in Vietnam, and comparative advantage and international activities of Vietnam firms, and the working conditions in Vietnam. And actually, and another one was that. So it's all in Korean, so but I'm going to translate it for the finer paper, but it shows the workers' behavior when they are working in the company. I mean, the workers' behavior. And
so the other thing that I want to comment is that maybe you should show some of the facts relating to the growth rate. So it's easier to see because the growth rate relating to how can I say? So if you can see, if you can show more the fact in 2020 or the few years lately to see why the reasons why you should invest in Vietnam. So it will be much more better. Like the growth rate and things like that.
We are.
Populations and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you very much for this book. Again, Gun-Soo Kim and Hyunak Do, you guys are practicing being managers right now. You have a little bit of time left. I'm going to ask you, how are you managing the group today? How are you managing the company today? You have had one person in your company, Ali, has showed that she's paying attention. She's interested in details. Can you get anybody else to confirm they understand or appreciate details, or they're working with you to understand? Get some comments from other participants?
Yeah, cause I'm a friend of Jung Woo-so, and he's always interested in Vietnam cultures. So this would be important for him to learn more about it. And so I think it is good to hear from Jung Woo's opinion regarding the Vietnam management.
Okay.
So, Jung Woo, can you? Oh, I think he's somewhat busy now.
Managing staff, fun stuff, huh? At least now you're seeing the difficulty of managing others. Was it clear to all of your staff, your classmates, where you can find many other articles if they want to develop more?
We actually use the Scopus journals to get some more informations. And Hyuna, can you answer for this question?
Yes, Professor. Yes, Gun-Soo. Professor.
There are many articles online, and the students should be able to see them, but many students don't know where they are. Would you like to share where some of these articles about Vietnamese management are?
Well, actually, we have found some articles from scholar.google.com.
Kaemyong University Library.
Yes, that's also another one. And of course, our professor has shared the file for supporting our activities. It's in the Google file, right, Professor?
Yes. So you can see here, every student has access. You should be able to see my screen now, to all class files, including special articles. Actually, I might as well show all of it. There is the class folder just for our class, and there's an extra folder for student optional reference information. However, inside our class folder, you guys can see what I'm doing now, right? There is the folder on Vietnamese management. And inside here, if you're interested, Hyunak Do started talking to me, Gun-Soo Kim started talking to me about developing a company or new businesses in Vietnam. So there's several articles related to investing to start a new business in Vietnam. And just for regular academic research, there's a lot of Vietnamese management articles here, as you can see, that have been shared. And any of these you want to talk about, Hanak Do or Gunsu Kim? Any of these especially interesting to you?
So
We use those materials as well to come up with the main ideas, and that those were the main idea was the business culture in Vietnam and how it differs from other countries. Yeah,
Yes.
that helps a lot.
So yeah, there's several articles. Anybody interested in developing these, you can see lots of Scopus journal articles talking about Vietnamese management. And one of our next topics that we're going to be talking about is negotiation. There's a specific file here talking about negotiating with Vietnamese. Overall, the difference in motivation of staff. So great research. Thank you for sharing access to some of this stuff, guys. Let's get into one of the other topics that we're going to be talking about. I want to make sure people are as aware of the tech trends and the management of technology globally around the world as much as possible. So I can talk about that for a short time today, but are there any other students in class that would like to share some details before we move into these other presentations? Shiraz, you contacted me quite a bit in week 8 when no other students were participating in the class. There was no official class, but Shiraz, you contacted me during the class time. We talked about your research. If you want to share some of that information, great. You can get some points. Jungwoo So or Juksong, any of you guys want to share some more details before we move on to the other presentations? Going once, going twice. Ali, what is this that you're sharing with the group now? Nothing? Okay, I'm going to go through and help share a little bit more. So this is a file that relates to Vietnamese management, and it relates to technology. As some of you may be aware, I am the vice rector of a university in Vietnam, and that university is very focused on developing from a local level introductory university to get access to the technology in order to work with the rest of the world. So this is a presentation that I shared with them talking about Vietnamese interests in technology. So let's go through and just show you what are some of the people in Vietnam. What are they looking at? What's going on? It relates to everybody here. What we can see overall, I'm not going to show every slide altogether, but the students and the professors, the faculty there, they're doing the same level style of management as we are. The faculty that I have at Dong A University, they're trying to get students to not only follow textbooks and journal articles, they're using a lot of the open source textbooks and open source articles. Some of the students in Vietnam are very, very rich and very wealthy. Many students are not very rich or not very wealthy, so this overcomes that. They're able to work with online education with free online materials, and they also need to research and provide some details in a presentation and papers, just like our class is doing. You can also see here that the our class style is the exact same as the class style that is recommended that all faculty in Dong A University should be following this method now. And it's the same thing that is becoming popular at Hanyang University in Seoul. You can also see that they're supposed to also do research term papers. So what we are doing is the exact same thing as what people in other cities and other countries are trying to do also. So let's get into this. What I see here, what I think is quite interesting when I talk to many students around the world, is that students don't really seem to understand the reality around them. They wake up, they have their breakfast, then they talk with their friends, they get on their computers and videos. They don't see the big picture. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of the big picture. What we see in the middle slide here is the world's very first reliable, trusted journal article. So this started with the first printing press in the 1400s, and then the first journal in 1663. And then education hasn't really changed very much until today. Since 1663, since they started making books, they started making journal articles that are the most reliable research articles. People have been sitting in a class, usually in one building, together with one old guy at the front, giving information to students. And that hasn't changed until basically coronavirus is rapidly developing the use of online education. As we can see with our class, we can have students and professors from anywhere in the world interacting. And more importantly, for international management, companies are now seeing that they can work with staff inside our building, but you can also work with staff anywhere in the world. So be very aware that companies know they can hire people abroad. Hanakto, did you want to make a comment about where some of those articles on Vietnam came from? You don't need to show the presentation, just comment to your classmates. Give them some ideas for how they can manage themselves efficiently in this 2020 world. Where did some of the people you work with come from?
Pardon?
Where did some of the people you got research from, where did they come from? Are you getting shy? Ali, would you like to introduce the concept of how Hyanak Do and Gunsu Kim, they are benefiting from researchers in India developing articles?
So
Do you want to talk about how you can work online with people from abroad? And how other people are doing the same thing, finding articles that people in Korea can work with, you can study. Usually, Juksong, I see you're looking very eagerly at us. Maybe if you are thinking about doing research project, you try to hire somebody next to you here in Daegu or Seoul to help you do research. And if you pay somebody in Korea to help you do something, you probably have to pay them $8 or 8,000 won or 10,000 won per hour. But what Hyanak Do and Gunsu Kim were finding is that there are other people also studying international management, Vietnamese management, and they can find them in Vietnam, or they can find them in India where they speak English well, and they work for a lot lower salary ranges. Sometimes you can hire very highly qualified people for $2, $3 an hour, and they can be geniuses or really hardworking people. So when you're thinking about graduating, when you're thinking about your class, the traditional Korean student just goes to class, listens to whatever the professor says, hopes to graduate at the end of 4 years, and then walk up to a company and get a job. But you're forgetting that everybody is now online. Education has stayed the same since the 1400s and 1600s up until this coronavirus time. With the telegraph and the telephone, we allowed people to talk to people on the other side of the world hundreds of years ago. We recorded information more than 150 years ago, even with movies and sounds. So YouTube, recording information, sharing it with others, that has been basically around 150 years. YouTube is new, it's on the internet, but that education, that research, companies getting information from the other side of the world, people are just now starting to live it, to do it, not just talk about it and think about it. We have the internet, we're living with the internet. Make sure you're aware of that. So what I'm showing here is in the very middle picture was the world's first journal in the 1600s. Then we had the first, on the upper right corner, the telegraph and the telephones and TVs and the printing presses. So those are some things, but what's happening now, things are changing a lot. That whole idea of make sure you know you can do anything, use your talent, use the market needs, use your passion for doing something, but promote it, share that with the world. People used to think that Bill Gates was some alien god, life form, strange brain. Steve Jobs, also strange brain, strange personality, very, very special personality. I'm not as good as them. But there's a lot of research showing that they're just very lucky being in their environment. This book by Malcolm Gladwell that you see proves, according to this book, that they were born the exact same year in the exact same environment. They were born in a very strange community that was very interested in high tech. They got some of the countries, if not some of the world's very first personal computers, and they had access to it before anybody else. And these guys fell in love with it. And they spent so much time on it, just kids playing around. By the time they got to university, they knew more. They had more than 10,000 hours of playtime or work time with this. They were more talented or knew more than their university professors. So why should I spend every hour, every minute just lecturing about what I learned 10, 20 years ago when we have the internet that's been around since, 30, 40, 50 years? So you guys have access to just as much information as me. Most teachers nowadays should be just guiding people to get the best results and the best developments. And companies are starting to realize that. So the companies don't need to hire many staff in your hometown anymore. They're starting to hire people based on one contract to do one task. A lot of researchers are showing the average contract time is just 2 hours. So look through that. And even with that, Bill Gates is not the most successful, wealthiest person of all time. If you check those trends, you can see that the Rockefellers, he had $663 billion back in the 1800s. Bill Gates, he may have 60 to 80 billion dollars, but the Rockefellers had 10 times that. Carnegie's also had much more than that at the same time, 1835. Vanderbilt's had much more than Bill Gates back in 1877. JP Morgan had much more than Bill Gates back in 1837. So this whole idea of being in the right place at the right time helped Steve Jobs and it helped Bill Gates enormously. But what I'm trying to make sure you guys are aware of with studying East Asia International Management is you guys know East Asia is some of the fastest growing, most powerful parts of the planet. Now, you guys should be aware that for most of my lifetime, everybody was saying United States was the best. United States was the most powerful. Well, you have witnessed that's changed. Now with Donald Trump, obviously it's not the best. And China's economy is bigger than United States. So China is growing faster. China is already much larger than United States. They have much more customers and companies in China. Same thing in India. So that focus on growth is now more and more directly around you here in East Asia. So start developing yourself in this area now. You have also been born with technology. So let's look at this technology. What is this technology that you should leverage? This idea of companies, the global Fortune 500 is what many people say are the biggest in the world, but it's not true. Not just United States companies are the biggest. This is showing the global Fortune 500 companies, the Royal Dutch Shell from the Netherlands. Yes, Exxon was US, Walmart US, but Sinopec, China National Petroleum, and the State Grid, many of these are China. And these are reports from over 10 years ago. If you look at the global Fortune 500 now, more and more of the world's biggest, highest tech companies are in East Asia. So learn about this East Asian management, learn about Guangxi, learn about how you can connect with them now in class, how you can get grants from some of them to help them continue to develop whatever companies you want to work with and start prospering using your environment while you can. This idea many people study marketing. When we're studying international management, they say that marketing is the core. Well, this is a file that has been around for almost 10 years now, and it says traditional marketing is dead. Traditional marketing had people going out saying, I have this nice new product, I can sell you this amazing product, and you should buy it. Well, 100 years ago, consumers did not have the internet, and they didn't even have libraries easily. So they just listened to anything anybody said. So traditional marketing, if somebody said something, especially if they're from a big company, people would believe them. Nowadays, with libraries and more so with internet and social media, people only believe what they see online. And a lot of people make a mistake and believe just what anything is online. You must, as business leaders, understand the difference between good quality information and bad quality information. Almost everybody can distort. Buyers are no longer paying attention to what a marketer is saying. The CEOs lost patience with marketing departments. CEOs are now starting to give their marketing budget and give rewards to just an individual person out in social media that has 1 million followers. That person that has a lot of influence is better able to do some things than some marketing departments. So CEOs are starting to directly pay people that are very active in social media. Next, social media is everywhere, and you need to understand that. That whole idea of putting up a sign on the side of the road, promoting your product or service, people aren't even looking out the window in their car when they drive. And with coronavirus, people aren't going outside in the car, they're just living online. So social media is crazy important. Tomorrow is North America's election. And 4 years ago was the last election. Everybody should be aware, whether it's true or not, a lot of people said Donald Trump bought his election by paying millions of dollars to Facebook marketers to put ads in front of customers to make them vote for him. And they paid companies with Cambridge Analytica to promote Donald Trump in the past. And whether you believe that's true or not, I believe it. And I know a fact. Facebook was charged $5 billion fine for allowing that to happen. So be aware that what you see in social media, what you see online, many times is tailored to attract you to do something. So your attention, many times, is the product or service. It's not just, they're not just selling shoes or cell phones nowadays. Like Elon Musk is saying, he's not really in charge of selling cars. He doesn't care as much about selling the Tesla car. What he's doing is selling a way to track all information about drivers and people being transported. So he is going to, anybody in the Tesla car is a data set he records. And soon he's going to start selling that information to other people. So, just think about that stuff. The new role of marketing, make sure you understand community marketing is very, very important. Getting into grants relates. Big trillion-dollar companies give money away because it's sort of community marketing. It's making the community believe something, whether it's true or not. Make sure you also understand who are your influencers around you. Make sure you can help them build social capital. Make sure a Chinese thing. It is in Vietnam, it is in Korea, it's in every country in the world, everywhere in the world. You must work with social capital, develop your connections immediately. Help other people like Kanak Do and Professor Gunsu Kim just did this morning. Their presentation is next week. But what they did today is they showed you where everybody can find a lot of articles if you're interested in Vietnamese management. And they showed a lot of information that they find interesting. So just by simply sharing your information helps others. I thought it's really good that everybody should realize there are people in India doing the exact same thing as you guys. You guys should be collaborating, develop your social capital with them. With 1 billion people competing to learn the exact same thing that you guys are doing, where you are at a top respected university of 50 million people in Korea, There at top universities, you can find people of over 1 billion. So develop your social capital around and make sure you get other people to promote you. So this is the whole concept, again, from the Harvard Business Review saying 10 years ago, marketing is dead. We already know that universities are teaching online to develop good guanxi and capital, social capital. You should allow people to chit chat, even if they don't like you, if there's a place for them to chat about the class activities, like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group or a Kakao Talk area. That is a way to build the community. Just organizing those groups may make you famous. So understand how to work with that stuff. This is an example of what Harvard was saying many years ago, how to work perfectly with social media, but it is wrong. This is just a baby's guide. If you're going to work in Facebook, yes, provide information, provide images, of course, photos, keep things positive. This can be argued. Sometimes it's better to advertise controversial things. That's what Donald Trump does. He's always saying controversial things because people say any marketing is good marketing. If people are talking about you, they're thinking about you. The more they think about you, the more powerful you get. So even debatable things might be good to talk about. And if you have links to things where they can get more information and check facts, that's great. So this is what Harvard says is the best way to work in social media, but that is wrong. Most people should realize that by posting a photo in your Facebook, generally only your mom and your dad and maybe a few of your close friends are going to see that. Only your close contacts will see it. Very few other people will see what you post unless you work with big data, get it working for you. So we need to understand, what is this big data? This idea of Facebook and Google Plus and Twitter, and even this idea of Harvard saying the best times to advertise, the best times to post, there is no one time. It is when your customers value it the most. The best time to post is when your customers are spending most time online. And if your customers are in Vietnam, that's 2 hours difference. If your customers are in North America, that could be 12 hours different time zone. We have a professor from Denmark that is eager to interact with us, but the last time he talked with us, nobody was really asking him questions, so he's not joining. If you guys ask, we can get professors almost anywhere in the world to interact with us. It's important to understand their times. So this Harvard suggestion of the best and worst times for you to post, it's wrong. You are nice, but not as important as your customers you should be tracking. Next, there's not just Facebook. Make sure you're aware there's many different types of social media out there. Follow what your target customers are doing. And as we said, the world's biggest economy now is not the United States, it's China. So what is China doing? It's not just following Facebook. Ren and Weibao and even YouTube should be modified to Youku. So understand these details. Wherever you want to do business, you need to understand those details and work that way so your customer is following. And this whole concept of, people keep thinking Canada, USA, the best place to be. Well, in all of North America, maybe there's 450 million people. That could be, a very small fraction of just one of the countries, part of China, and 80% of the Chinese social media users are much more active than the social media users in North America. So just be aware of that. Make sure that you know not only QQ, which is like the instant messenger for low income or young students, but Sina Weibao. It's more for the sophisticated, educated university graduates, higher income people. If you want to interact with richer, more knowledgeable people, you should be thinking about Sina Weibao more than just the QQ. Although QQ has more than 750 million users, Sina Weibao has 400 million targeted higher income, more educated users. And then there's WeChat and RenRen. Classmates use a lot of this. Teenagers, for example, Coca-Cola, Adidas ads are popular in the RenRen. And then there's the Douban for, I call it artsy-fartsy communications. Make sure you're aware of these. If you are interested in Vietnam, like Kyanak Do and Good Su Kim, I would suggest you benefit from your Professor Ali and talk to her about social media. She is a specialist in that area in Vietnam. Make sure you're aware, what is the social media being used there? It's probably very different than the social media being used in Korea. Next, make sure you understand business and success do not go to just the people that deserve it. Business and success is part of a game. The powerful people, the successful people, come from a variety of different things. Sometimes your power comes from being an expert. Nobody cares if you have a university degree, because almost all people in the world have a university degree. But they do care if you've published something. So publish your term papers. That gives you the resume that shows you're a specialist or you're an authority, an expert in something. That gets you a lot of power. Next, also understand, I've had students that learned about the power of like. I can show you some journal articles describing what is a Facebook like and why it's powerful. Some of my students learned about it, became so popular, and they got so many likes online, even though they were not from Korea. The Korea National Tourism Organization hired them to promote Korea tourism. So make sure you understand what that is. The idea of popularity is also very important. As I said, Donald Trump, he's probably not known for being an authority on coronavirus or an authority on anything except craziness. He is, however, saying things that are debating people, and people talk a lot about him. So everybody knows about him. He's becoming super powerful just because he's popular. So start understanding both are very important, and learn the value of SSCI or Scopus journal articles. Research the background. The more you share information, the more you build your brand with people, it accelerates your reach and your virality, how easy you can make things go viral, like Psy in Gangnam Style. That was a guy that almost nobody knew about, and then within 24 hours, he had like a million or a billion people following him. So you could come up with an interesting idea, and 24 hours later, you can have 1 billion people looking at you. That is not traditional marketing. That's new. It's just started in your lifetime. Make sure you use that, you grow that. Work also with people on the other side of the world where you want to work. Again, India also speaks English. They can help you expand around the world. I'm going through this quite quickly. I told you about how one of my students learned in class about the power of like. And so this is the student. She's on Facebook. You can contact her. She's become sort of a specialist in it. She is teaching you the idea of when you're using social media, this concept of advertisements is around you all the time. There are advertisements online all the time, whether you like them or not. You should be able to work with them and know what is good and what is bad, what is just an ad. For example, I can make an ad and say I have a company and say my company is the best company in the world according to an ad from XYZ company 2020. And so people might start to think my company is the best company in the world, but it's just an ad. You can say anything you want online. So she is showing you how she was doing it, and you can do the same things. This is how she can make an ad with social media. This is how she can publish pages about friends, just sharing other friends' stories, especially if your friend is a popular person, exposes you to get all of your friends' friends and your friends' followers. The more followers, the more likes, the more views you have, the easier it is for you to get paid. Again, that's how Psy and Gangnam Style ended up getting millions of dollars in this online advertising. So again, remember that China's Facebook is Renren. It's not the same. Facebook is not the same everywhere. It depends where you want to work. This is the idea of Renren. Make sure you also understand the value of a fan. The more fans you have, the more powerful you get. Donald Trump won the election in 2016 because he had many fans, because he was able to say things in social media that made people excited, made people interested. It has not a direct connection to truth or an authority. It's just being able to say things and connect with others, just being a popular fan. If you are accurate, that could be even better. So I'm going to.
So actually in marketing, we call it is like raving fans or super fan. Like there is some small amount of fans that really loves your product can be your marketing part. So their voice is absolutely very important to make sure that you can promote your brands a lot. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I have just shared in Facebook groups status of the updated social media trends. So it's actually always changing. Like for example, recently that you know that TikTok is like boomed in internationally, and not only you take a look on the global trend, but also like when you enter in each country, you should understand which kind of social media or which kind of online channels that they are using is totally different. Like for example, that from Korea, you Kakao Talks. So I have to use Kakao Talk to discuss with you guys. Or if you want to talk with Vietnamese, maybe you have to use Facebook or Zalo. So yeah, everything is changing a lot now. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not just changing, but my son, some of you have met my son. I have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old boy. He started making money when he was 2 years old. He started being able to profit from advertising or modeling when he was 2 years old. And now he's a pretty active, he keeps laughing at his old man father, me, saying, I'm out of touch. He is much better at TikTok videos than I am. He has a lot of TikTok followers and some YouTube followers. So as you can see on the screen here, make sure you understand why that's important. The idea of, again, this is several years old now and it keeps developing. The number of views you have for your YouTube video is important. This says for every 1,000 views, for every 1,000 people that watch your video, YouTube used to pay you from $1 to $5, and usually the popular people get the $5. So you can make money just making a video and people watching it. So that whole idea of 1,000 YouTube views earn sometimes a creator 25 cents to $4. That idea of the song Despacito or See You Again or Gangnam Style, that gets payments between $750,000 to sometimes $12 million just by making a post or a song. Make sure you understand the value of subscribers. For every subscriber you have, sometimes YouTube may pay you 5 cents. Or the channel views, for every channel view, sometimes they may pay you a penny. So marketers can get paid a lot of money just by staying home in your bedroom. This idea of COVID-19 should be a slap in the face to everybody in the world that you must be able to work online. You must be able to understand the value of social media. People are closing companies, but at the same time, younger kids are starting to become millionaires just with videos online. So getting $7 per 1,000 ad views, or sometimes it was up to over $9 per 1,000 ad views, can add up a lot, especially when you're getting viral hits. So make sure you understand that a video creator can earn $2,000 for 1 million views. But YouTube also takes a large percent of it. So once you understand management, you understand that what you like, what you know, it's nice. But what's most important is the understanding of the other person. If you're targeting something in China, you must understand what that Chinese customer cares about, and you must work in a mutually beneficial way. So if you want to work with YouTube, you must understand that YouTube takes 45% of the profit. So if you start showing everybody that you're very, very profitable, then YouTube would be more interested in promoting your videos. And you should realize that it's not just any video that goes to the top of the search. YouTube and Google, they have special formula that would promote certain videos and findings at the top, even if maybe the better view or the better search result is farther down. So it doesn't matter exactly how hard you work. Working hard does not guarantee you're going to be successful. It's working smart. So understand the rules for the game. The rules of the game have definitely changed with coronavirus. Any questions about this? Can I ask how many people in our class actually are developing an online presence? Can anybody tell me who has the most online followers or fans or likes with anything? Juksung, do you know how many followers you have online?
I have no followers.
No followers. I'm following you. Come on. What about you? Hey, Binto. You work really, really hard, Bisso, but are you working wisely? Are you aware that just hard work, finding journal articles, memorizing journal articles, and writing papers, that's hard work. But it's not following the game of life. You need to also work with the game of life. How are you going to share that information online? Do you know how many followers you have or friends you have online?
It is different by the each channels, but for the subscription, I don't know how much, but I am not the people who like to promote myself on a SNS.
So you
So
like the
there's
idea
no-
of working hard and never being famous.
Pardon?
If you just work hard, there is a high chance you will never be very successful and you may not be very, very rich or famous. If you want to be more famous or rich or successful or have more impact, for example, even if you want to help poor people or farmers, one worker that's very hardworking can go to a farm and help them dig their crops. But that's just one person helping with one shovel. If that one person gets 1 billion followers or hundreds of million followers, and then gets every follower to promote or buy something from those farms, that social media person that doesn't have to dig a hole in the farm could help that farmer much, much more. So make sure you understand that how you're working is also important, if not maybe more important than just working hard. So be aware of what is this culture. Chinese culture important, Vietnamese culture important, Japanese, Korean culture, American culture is important, but the culture of technology, I believe, is far more important than any national boundary. And you must be able to survive in this culture online and grow yourself. If you wanted to interact in Vietnam, you haven't talked too much about it, but Kun Soo Kim and Shanak Do, they were talking about Vietnam today. Ali can answer this after, but Ali, how about we ask the class, which social media should they promote themselves in the most to get popular in Vietnam? If you want to sell a product in Vietnam, if you want to develop a company in Vietnam, if you want to get some of the 100 million people in Vietnam to listen to you, what social media do you think is most popular in Vietnam? Anybody know? Shiraz, do you know? Jung Woo So, Juk Sung, Ho Jin Chun, Ji Hwan So, any of you guys? Easter, do you know which social media is most powerful in Vietnam?
Let's guess.
Facebook.
Facebook is good. One guess. Good. What's another guess? Name any Social media, you think Snapchat? Okay.
Yeah, I think Snapchat.
YouTube, Instagram.
YouTube, Instagram. Okay. Anybody else? Time for our professor of social media, Ali, to start talking to us. Which ones are more popular, Ali, in Vietnam?
So
You
I
list.
Facebook is the most famous in Vietnam, absolutely. And the second thing that you correct is YouTube also. But there is one thing that I think that you might not familiar with is Zalo. So Zalo is kind of same kind like Kakao Talk, when you can connect to other people if you already have their own mobile phone. So Zalo in Vietnam is very popular. And the next one is Instagram. And the one that I have just mentioned when it's really like developing in Vietnam now is TikTok. And these are the 5 most used social media platforms in Vietnam. And
Has anybody
also
heard about Viber? Anybody in class ever heard of Viber? Does anybody in Korea use Viber? We haven't talked about it yet, but it is very popular in Vietnam.
yes, Viber is like is around in the top 10, top 7 social media platform in Vietnam too.
Okay, what about this? Are you guys aware of how Gangnam Style actually got successful? Everybody should be aware of the video Gangnam Style. It's very old now. There are new K-pop groups that are possible, but you should learn from these other people. I am a professor, but I'm just one guy. You should learn from everybody around you all the time. I don't have millions of followers. So make sure you understand. Gangnam Style, it's proof of the internet and social media videos made the world smaller. Marketing must adapt. What is he talking about? In the video, you can see that Gangnam Style is talking about what everybody in the world wants to talk about. A lot of guys dream of traveling with girls. And so if guys are dreaming of traveling with girls, he made this picture you can see at the top left. A guy traveling with a 70 or 80-year-old girl here. So this idea of guys traveling with girls makes things interesting. And in Korea, a lot of people are always talking about getting real estate. I agree, real estate is one of the smartest things in the world. And most people realize to be successful, you need to have the best real estate. But he talks about how he has real estate, but he can only pay for the size of a toilet. So he has a toilet real estate for an office. You know, that concept is very shocking. So when you say things on the internet that are shocking, you'll get a lot more people talking about it, just like Donald Trump. The more people that talk, the more successful you become, the more popular you become. And the idea of walking down the street with beautiful girls on your arms, a lot of guys used to talk about. But even like he's saying this during garbage storms, if you're covered in garbage, those are controversial things. And the whole idea that even if there's a beautiful person in front of you, whether it's a guy or a girl, you're not supposed to stare at their body. And so by him staring at somebody's body, that's controversial. By doing something online, like Heben So and who are the Juk Song, you guys, very good students, very hardworking students, very polite students, but same thing, Easter, you're polite, but you don't talk very much and you're incredibly polite. Have you realized that being polite may slow down your success? And Gangnam Style is proof of that. When he's staring at somebody's body, that's not polite, but it gets a lot of people talking about him faster. And as Heben So was saying, you're not the type of person that likes to brag and promote yourself. Well, then who is? Who is going to promote you? Because the world is open. There's Indian people. We have professors now in Denmark, Romania, Europe, Vietnam, Canada, teaching us right now. So if you want to get a job, you are getting jobs in competition, not just with people in Daegu, but you're getting jobs competing with people in China, India, Brazil, everywhere on the planet. So be aware of that and just working hard, being polite, not talking online, being modest. It may be hurting you. I respect manners, I respect etiquette, but my job is to help you develop. And I do not like Donald Trump, but he is doing some things that are very smart. He is making everybody on the planet aware of who he is. So even if he finishes being the president, his hotels, people are going to want to go take photos of the Trump hotel for many, many more years. And that's going to help his future, even if he's a bad person. So be aware of that power. So my comments that you see here is the idea of a clown or Psy fitting mainstream is not usually good. The friendly role of an Asian male jester, thanks to Psy, decidedly all pop stars are looking like funny guys when Psy was becoming popular. Now the new K-pop person is supposed to be a sexy, attractive model and an entertainment person. The Korean government is actually training them to look not just like a model, but more like a business person. So that's a big aspect of it. Your image online is a big point. Combine what, not just what you like, but combine what other people like, your target people like. For example, people like funny music, people like goofy dances, people like a catchy tune, and people like comics. And you do it in a non-threatening way. If I see Daniel Henning, which is a super sexy Korean American model online, I know he's better looking than me, and so I'm not gonna feel great, you know, if people just keep talking about him. But if Daniel Henning comes out, or like Psy does, and he makes a joke about how he doesn't look super sexy, how he looks covered in garbage, how he's surrounded by farm animals, that's not embarrassing anybody. Nobody's going to feel threatened by that. So promote yourself in a way that keeps other people happy. That whole idea of Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Rain, Girls' Generation, BTO, the Blackpink, these people, think about how you appear online to others. Let's go through. And you don't have to do it for class, but my job is to teach you. Everybody knows in our class you need to make a term paper, and you can generally make any title you want. But if you just make a title for a term paper that you like, you're hurting your own future, because only you like it. Only you really care. You should understand that every time somebody uses a smartphone or a computer and types something in a keyboard, that information is saved on the internet. That's that big, huge amount of data in the cloud. And so you can search through it and find what are people looking for. And whatever are those popular words, you should use those words that relate to your topic, because people type those words in. And if they type the word, if your title has the words they're typing, you are going to be at the, the higher level, the top of Google. People are going to see you online faster than if it's just a title you like. So use the information, the keywords, the meta tags that other target people like. Now, Hojin Chun, I didn't hear too much from you today. Can you explain what is a tag? What is a meta tag, or what is a keyword? Because my communication skills as a grumpy old man, sometimes it's not clear. Are you here?
Tag.
Yes, what is a tag? What is a meta tag? What is a keyword? I'm trying to tell you guys, I'm trying to teach what that is, but my communication styles are not perfect. Can you guess what I was trying to teach? What is a keyword?
Tag.
How about you delegate and get somebody else in class to answer that question for you? Pick anybody in class and ask them to answer the question for you.
Hassan. Are you there?
Okay, Shiraz. Shiraz, are you here? Maybe Shiraz is not.
Yes,
here.
Professor.
Maybe, okay. Can you explain what is a keyword? What is a tag or a meta tag? You understand what those are? I'm getting old. I'm getting more and more gray hairs. Somebody help me before I completely did. Does anybody in class know what is a keyword or a tag or a meta tag? 5 seconds before Ali answers it. Evan So, Juksong, anybody in class? Gunsu Kim, Kanak Do, do any of you guys understand what that is?
Professor,
Yes?
I think keyword and the title of I think the title.
I can't hear you. You need to speak directly into your microphone, please.
Oh yes, I think is the title of our page content.
I think this is the hashtag something like
Yeah,
people.
it can be related to the title of something. It's considered the title of what you're doing. It's also considered a hashtag. Great. What does that mean?
Like people search their own interest to, and they share the same interest with others. The tag.
Okay, Ali, can you help clarify what is a keyword or tag or meta tag?
So actually that when you try to upload videos and so you should do so before you want to showcase to many people, so and you have to know that your videos is relating to which type of topics, and then you should write it as, like you said, as a hashtag, or you put as on the title of video to make sure that when people are searching for that, so your videos will be appeared on the Google search engines. So in actual fact, Facebook or for Google or YouTube, they have a system where you can see which kind of keyword is the trend or the popular than the others. So Facebook, Google or YouTube is not just only as on you can see on the screen now. So Google also teach you how to be popular in Google. So that's the reason why you have to understand about keywords and extra things.
So since our class is over, I'm just going to summarize. I'll keep talking a little bit about it later, but in summary, everything that anybody does on your cell phone, on your regular phone, on your computer, all of that, everything you type is saved in the cloud, in the big data. And so all information is there. And every word that you type reflects what you are interested in. And so some words are typed a lot by many different people. And so the main word that you are looking for is your keyword that shows your interest. But there are millions, billions of people on the internet. And so in a certain area, There's the big data on the internet that can identify what words are being used the most. And they can tell you those are the key words. Another word for it is that word is tag. That word is a meta tag. And so you can link your story or your file or your product or service, whatever you're promoting, or the title of your paper, you can link your information to that important word. So the next time anybody searches in Google for that word, you will come up. And so that's what we're talking about. What this is showing you is with Google Insights or Google Analytics, Google Keywords, you can see that if somebody's even selling a car in China, for example, or more specifically, somebody's selling a car specifically in Beijing, you can be more specific. So this is showing what words are the most popular words in China. And it will show these might be the most popular words. And it's showing over here that of all of these words, safety, price, quality, or popularity, the only thing that is getting a lot of views or a lot of people typing or focused on is price. But if you do the same words in New York, you will see that while price is still very important, in New York, a lot of people really care also about safety. And then they care next about warranty. And then next they care about quality. So when you are promoting your product, you should do a lot of the advertising on price and then talk about safety, then focus on warranty, and then focus a little bit on quality because that's what everybody's looking for. And it can show you those. And actually, if you go through some of these programs and you click on these words, it will tell you if it's the price of the product or the price of automobile insurance or the price of extra features related to it. It can break down these details more and more and into each area. So make sure you're aware of these details going forward. You do not have to show you're using keywords for your term paper. But if you do, I will be more generous with your grade because that will help you be more successful in international management no matter where you are. So learn about these things, learn about social media analytics, learn about big data analytics, learn how it changes from country to country. So class is finished. I am going to stick around for a little while if you guys have more questions and just show you this whole presentation that I have is talking about what I was teaching very introductory level universities in Vietnam. They're purely Vietnamese universities where almost everything is just in Vietnamese in the university. They're still trying to learn English. They're still trying to learn technology. But because they can work online with anybody, they're also learning a lot of Japanese and a lot of Chinese and a lot of other languages. So realize that even though they have a low level of education and they're not wealthy in economic GDP terms, they are directly doing the same thing you are doing. They're directly competing with you. They are also trying to contact Samsung and these employers. So think of how you can use big data to stand out. And what this is showing, one of the requirements that I had for class is when you show a journal article, you get a lot of points. But when you also show like an online video teaching about your topic, you can also get a lot of points. So anybody that wants to teach a weekly topic, you can just find an online video teaching that, like a massive open online course. I love Allison, or NPTEL, which is the National Program for Technology Enhanced Learning. The Indian government required all top universities in India to start making their classes free online many years ago. I am now a part of that in India and in several places. You know, we have our classes on YouTube. Are you on YouTube? If you don't know about that, you can learn about it. MIT is giving away free classes online. Harvard gives away free classes online. Berkeley, almost all universities will have professors making classes online. Some of them are for free. Coursera is a big one. They used to give a lot of free classes, and now they're starting to have so many users, they're starting to charge. You can watch the video for free, but if you want a certificate at the end to say you finished this Harvard class or MIT class, you might have to pay $50 or $500 to do that. You should learn about that. Every one of you will have a resume and people will look at it. Every one of you will soon say you have a university degree, but some of you could take a free class, a video from Harvard or MIT and get a certificate. So whose resume will you like better? The resume of somebody graduating your university with a 90%, or the resume of somebody that's graduating your university with an 85% and a certificate from MIT and Harvard? But it's free. The certificate from MIT or Harvard, it could be free. So make sure you understand that image of you in your resume has a huge impact. So this is Allison. This is a big one that I think is very good. It gives a lot of certificates for free. In Ireland, Khan Academy started as just a regular student sharing videos to his niece and nephew. And by sharing just a video to his niece that he had to help pass high school tests, other people saw it on YouTube. He started getting thousands and thousands of people following him. Then he started getting strangers giving him $10,000, $100,000. Bill Gates even started giving him a lot of money just because he was making videos for a family member. And so that's why every one of our students should also make a YouTube video related to your specialization. Anyway, the class is finished. Thank you very much for watching, Easter and everybody else. If you have any other questions, Easter, this information is online. It is, I can show you the details here. So if you go into these, oops, where is it here? These files, all of our class files, they're here. You can find that stuff online anytime in the Vietnamese management and the tech management, which I'm talking about. Where is it here? So this is developing the social media. I was talking about that today. And here is the file that I just finished showing you. If you want to check more information, you can click on this file and download it here anytime. Thank you very much for participating, Esther.
Thank you, Professor.
Have a good day, guys.
See you.